Hey everybody, so what we have here today is a time lapse of the Afterschool #1 for Skybound at Image. What they asked for was kind of an homage cover because I had just done these Nita Hawes covers in the kind of the vein of Norman Rockwell, and so they really kind of vibed on that. And so when I read the first issue, there was this dog and the alien thing, and so I thought a great homage, using those elements would be the old like RCA. I think it's the old RCA dog listening to the thing. And so I thought that was kind of a really cute way to start off something that could be pretty grotesque and Cronenbergian. And so, this is the basic shape of the alien that they've created in the comic. And so I just kind of got to go nuts. At this point, you're just kind of seeing me map out all the nice grotesque sinew and tendons and blobs and all that kind of nastiness that this thing kind of has. So there's definitely like a kind of a thing kind of vibe, a carpenter kind of a thing here. But for the most part, I really didn't, other than the RCA dog, I really didn't reference anything here. This was just such a fun cover. When I read the book, I was like, wait, there's no way around this, and I think this was even maybe their suggestion as far as doing the cover, as far as having the alien and the dog. And it was just, I love it. There's so much pretty that you kind of tend to have to do in comics, and especially for covers. And the idea that this is what it was going to be was just really, it's exciting when you can be ugly, when you don't have to worry about the pretty. So right here, what you see is like, I'll once the line art is done, then I knock in kind of a gray tone, a mid-tone. And then for me, on top of that, most of the times I would do a cleanup of the gray tone and then go in on top of that with a spatter and then edit out the spatter. This time, it looks like I just went straight in with the gray and then I was ready to keep going, so I just went in with the spatter as well. And now I'm just, let's probably a something like a 6B pencil or something like that I'm between 6B and HB pencil that I'm doing the highlights with, that I'm pulling out all of the white. And so there's just a couple of brushes. There's what we got there, there's kind of an oil sticky color pencil that I use for that background to give it that kind of oil smudgy vibe. And again, I think there's a brush called Harta or something like that. Harta. That comes with Procreate. That's kind of, it's in the artistic or the painty section. And that's what I've kind of used for those washes that are kind of grainy up top. Kind of in traditional media, that brush tends to remind me of like liquid charcoal. It's got a watercolory vibe to it, but it also has kind of a grain to it that, obviously I'm a huge fan of. What am I doing right now? I'm looking on the piece. I when I'm looking at the piece, I tend to get lost when I start to like knock out little tiny details, and I try to find out where I am on the map. So when you see flashes of color and stuff like that, it's me experimenting on how kind of gray I need to make the painting in order for me to get kind of full coverage of color when I start adding color. What that means is I'm doing all the gray and tonal work here, so then I can just come in with either like different kinds of overlays, whether it's you're using soft light, hard light, overlay, or whatever it is. But I'm going to basically lay the color over it. If this were a traditional painting, I would be staining the color in or glazing it in. But digitally, I'm basically trying to get a gray painting finished so I can just lay in some simple color and then knock in some highlights after that. So if you wind up going, if you can't really leave anything white, which I'm so used to black and white comics and things like that. I love when things hit those dynamic, you know, blacks and whites. But when I'm doing pieces like this, it's hard to remind myself that everything kind of needs to be gray, because the color needs to be able to attach itself to something. It can't attach itself to white, so the white stuff will stay white. So the more gray that you can make the piece, the easier it is to color. And now I guess I'm finally satisfied with the tonal aspect of the cover. So now it's time for a color. Yeah.